Hey guys, in today's video I'll be teaching you how to make a game like the Battle Cats. If you don't know what that is, you should go try it out. It's kind of like a tower defense game where you click to send out units when you have enough money. They go over here, battle some enemies and stuff like that. I'll be teaching you how to make that game. So what you want to do is create a new project, of course, and delete the cat because you don't need that, but if you want to keep it, that's fine too. And we're going to create a stage for our little guys to fight on. There's two ways of doing this. The first way is to make it completely flat, so it all looks flat. There's a base here, say right there, and a base here. That's it. It looks pretty flat. Or you can make it to where it's like this, to where it's a different color. And then you make another one down here, and then make this darker. Doing this makes it look a lot nicer and a little bit 3D, but we don't want these squares as our bases, so let's make some new ones. You want to make separate bases just because it's easier to keep track of the health and stuff like that. You don't want it to be with the background at all. Now, let's just make our base green. This is going to be your base. You can make it whatever you want to look like, but this is just an example for right now. Let's make this smaller. It's too small. Bigger. And here's this tool right here. I don't know what it's called, but you can select these points, make it flat, bend it around, make it more bendy, whatever you want with it. It's a pretty cool tool to use, and it's going to be useful to make this. It looks weird right now, but it's going to be our first base, like that. Now, you don't have to duplicate it and flip it to make the enemy base. It's just what I'm doing. This is going to be the enemy base, and let's just make it a different color so we can see easier. Let's make it red. Now that we have our two bases, we're going to need some guys to fight. Now I have some sprites that I pre-made. This is going to be yours, and this is going to be the enemies. For this one, I'm just going to show you how to make the actual code for these little guys so that they can move and attack each other and stuff. Let's start with the tank. What you're going to want to do is take, when I start as a clone, ignore these variables for real quick. I forgot I still have them. Let me delete them actually. I'm going to want to start as a clone, and then wherever you want it to start, you just have to drag a go-to block. Then after that you want to put a show, and then a forever block. This is what it's going to do. This is its doing block right here. You want to put an if then else. And so if touching, let's say sprite 2, which is our enemy base, then blah 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 happens. Right now there's pretty much nothing, so let's see. In our costumes we have this from 3 all the way to 11. So that would be repeat 8, I believe. I'm not sure, but you get the gist. Let's see. Wait, 0.05. This is just so that the costumes actually go. Next costume. Switch to costume 3. Let's see. And then we want to click this to see if it goes. It's right there. Nice. Let's see. Okay, it works. Let's move this to 7. And after you do this, you could just remove this guy. Just put a delete this clone just to get rid of him real quick. should have deleted it. I don't know. Oh well, you could also just stop it. What you want it to do is just go to the front layer so you could see it better in front of everything, and then we're gonna make the moving animations next. You also want to take if then else block just in case. So if you have a very long moving animation, this will really help you. All you have to do is just keep it close together like this in one section, so you could put next costume blocks on instead of just switch to this, switch to this, switch to this. So you want to keep it all close together, nice and neat. It really helps out a lot. So if, let's say, costume number equals 2, let's get that out from operators, equals 2, then wait however long you want to wait, say 0.05, switch to costume 1, else, drag this out, copy it, and then instead of switch to costume 1 or any other costume, click next costume. So when it starts as a clone, it should just do that. I want it to start a little bit lower, so we change the Y position to -40. It says it right here. This is the Y, up and down. This is the X, left and right. And ignore that, but after you do that, you want it to move, right? So all you have to do is go to variables, make a variable, and you can make any variable. Let's just say move now. You have to click for the sprite only, or else all clones just move at the same time, and if one touches something, they're all gonna stop. So we don't want that. Hide that variable, and then get another when I start as clone block. Forever, if then. Now, if, oh, you want an if then else, my bad. An if then else. Now, if that move now variable equals whatever number you want, let's say just 1, drag this right here, then you want it to move a certain amount. Let's say, how about change X by -1. Oh, didn't click it. -1. Now, you want to leave this blank so it stops moving, and let's see, does it work by setting move now to, oh wait, you have to be in the clone. So, what you want to do is, over here, set move now to 0 as soon as the clone spawns, just in case something's in front of it. But you want 2 of these set move now blocks to 1 because of this right there, and this right there. It's not moving right now because this isn't activated yet, but once it is, you'll see it starts moving. Just like that. Now, if it's touching that, we don't want it to continue moving while it's attacking. It's touching that enemy base, so set move now to 0, but if touching right here. Now, we don't want it to continuously attack like this. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is, just in case we want it to continue moving, like say if it's right here, it kills an enemy, and it goes on, and it hits an enemy right here, we don't want it to just continue attacking again and again, or just sit there even though there's no enemies in front of it. So what we're going to do is create another variable. Let's do attack now. Remember to tick off for the sprite only, or else all clones are affected by it. And then take this out and do an if then statement. Then put it back in. Let's see. Hide this variable and go to operators. If this equals, if attack now equals 0, then do this. And now, how we're going to do that is go to, when I start as clone, forever, if then, if attack now is greater than 0, or not less than 0, greater than 0, then what we're going to make it do is decrease until it's back to 0. Let's say repeat until. We need a repeat until block. And we need it to be equal 0. How we're going to do this is change attack now by -1. And we don't want it to just go by instantly, so what we're going to do is make it wait 1 second. And now we're going to go back to variables and set attack now to, let's say, 5. Right here after this ends. Let's see. What you're going to want to do is create a clone of myself. See, now there's 2 there, create a clone of myself again. Now you'll see, if this code works, that if this guy touches this, he'll only attack it. Just like that. You know how they freeze on that frame? So what we're going to want to do is take this and switch it back to 3. Let's see if that does anything. Nope. Create a clone of myself. Let's see. Drag this guy all the way back here. Yep, it works now. Now that you have this, you want to wait to damage the space. So what you want to do is, when flag clicked, go here, keep this on for all sprites because it's the base, set enemy health to, let's say, 150. Something like that. Now you want to take this right here, hold it, this comes on. You want to make sure it's on large readout. You can also right click it, put it over the base. Now you want to do the same thing for your base too, because you want to have health. So we're going to do that real quick. Now we're going to just make your health. Again, keep this for all sprites just because it's easier. And you want to make sure these variables are the only ones showing. Set it to large readout. When flagged click, then you want to set your health to, let's say, 150. It doesn't have to be these exact numbers. You can change it to however you see fit. But we don't want this. This is the original one. So let's do when flag clicked, hide. Now what this does is that it hides the original so clones can still spawn. See, now this has 150 and this has 150. If we go over to here and we create a clone of tank, this happens. You can do multiple tanks like that. And they all go over here. This one touches it, those still move, like that. That's good, it works. Now once you click this, boom, they're all gone. Now that we have this, we want to damage the space. If you want to do a single attack, you have to change this and go to costumes, see where you want which costume to do damage, like this one. If you want this one to do damage, you have to go directly to that. Let's say if 3, this is costume, 8? And then you want it to repeat 4 times, and then you want to do, this is for single attack by the way, only one thing at a time. Then you want to do, wait, 0.05, so it looks smooth. Next costume, and then an if-then-else statement. You don't want to do an if-then because then if you do an if-then, then that just makes it an area attack. You don't have to put it in here if it's an area attack, but you do if it is a single attack. It just makes it easier to actually, you can put it out on the side, but I'd rather put it inside. So if touching sprite 2, then change enemy health by -1. You want it to decrease, else nothing. Now, we also want it to damage the slime too, so if then else statement, just in case if you want to add more enemies. Touching slime, and since you can't directly decrease the enemy's health because this one over here is supposed to be for this sprite only, just to make it so that the clones don't all die at once, even though they're not close together, you're gonna have to create a message. Broadcast message, message 1. Let's just do that. It's easier. Since this has nothing yet, we don't need to worry about it until later, and we want this one to have health now. So let's create health. Again, click for this sprite only. Hide it because you don't need to show it. Set health to, let's say, 20. No, 10. Now you want to put this before, so the next code that we do doesn't delete it immediately. Which is gonna be, when I start as clone, forever, if then, if you want to do this, because if you want to have knockback after they reach a certain amount of health, this is good, or you could just make it delete the clone as soon as they have a certain amount of health, or as soon as they have a certain amount of health lost. Let's say, if health less than 1, and then you can make it go back, like, change X by 10, you want it positive because it's going that way, since it's yours. Let's do it by 50. Change X by 50. You can make it in a little animation to where it goes back a bunch, but you don't have to. If you want to do that, all you have to do is get the repeat, so it does that, and then change the number to like 5. And then this is just to make it so it has some knockback, and then it resets its health. What you want to do now is set health to 10, and then grab a wait until block. Take this, you could duplicate it if you want, and put it back in here. Let's say we only want it to get knocked back once, and then it dies. Once that happens, you could just delete this clone. Now that you have that, this is its death, and then you could put it in here. The variable will carry over, and now it's only for this sprite, but instead of changing X by 5, which would make it go this way, we want it to go backwards. So let's do it by -5. Let's see. Now, what we want to do is kind of take all of this code and put it in here, but we want this to be an area attack. So, let's take this, drop it in here, and recycle some of this code. This one doesn't have the same costume as everything else, so we are going to have to change some things, but other than that, it should be good. Now, all you have to do is just kind of take all of this out. And then, let's see. It has 4 movement animations. So, if costume number 4, just changing it up. It's basically the same, just a little bit of the things are changed. So, now that we have that, we want to switch to costume 1 here, And then next costume right here, wait 0.5 seconds this time instead of 0.05. And then instead of change X by 5, let's remove now. I didn't move it over, did I? No. Move this over. Instead of changing X by -1, let's change X by 1. So it's at the same speed, but moves in the opposite direction of the tank. Now, if touching tank, or, you want an or block right here. Touching tank, or, let's see, sprite 1. Set move now to 0. Gotta add it right here. Set move now to 1 over here. And then in here, you also want it to, when it starts as a clone, to set attack now to 0. Forgot to add that, so let's do that right now. I'll ignore this. And then once this happens, if attack now equals 0, let's see, it goes by 1, 2, 3, 4 costumes. Repeat, or switch to costume 5, costume 7, it goes up. Wait 0.05. Seconds, next costume. The reason why I'm doing it like this is because I wanted to have a little bit of wait time on this one, so then it goes like that smoothly. It looks more impactful. And then you could just do wait 0.5 or 1 second, and then repeat twice. Next costume, wait 0.05 seconds. Now that you have this done, switch it back to costume 1. Oh, this is outside. Switch back to costume. Let's do 5. And then after that, what you want to do is, when I start as clone, if then, this is for the area attack. What you want is 2 of them. So let's start with this one first. If touching tank, let's see, tank, and you want an and block this time. And right here. If touching tank and, let's do equals, what was it, 8. Costume number equals 8. Wait, hold up, these are mixed up. 7. Costume number equals 7, my bad. What? 7. Goes to looks, grab the costume number, duplicate this, and change this to sprite 1. Now, for this one, we're moving on to this one now. You go here, change health, no, not health, your health by, let's say, -5. And what you want to do is wait 1 second so it doesn't just like that, like damage a bunch. Here, look. I'll show you what happens if we create a clone. Oh, that's right, you have to put it in forever blocks. Forever. And then stop it. We want this changed. Forgot to change it. So, show. Move this right here. change it to coordinates -178 and -40. Let's keep it -40. Reattach this. Click the flag. Create a clone of myself. And it moves backwards. What you also want to do is make sure it's on the right costume as soon as it spawns. So, costume 1. Over here 2. Costume 11. We want it costume 1. Look at that. See? That's what happens. Now, this happens because we didn't put the wait 1 second. If we do that, it only takes 5 off. There we go. That works now. Now we want to do this, and we need a message, broadcast a message, because we can't directly take off the health from the tank. So, broadcast message to... that's not how you spell it. Let's just do slime attack tank. Now we go over here, and then we do, when I receive slime attack tank, then just change health by -5. Is this 10? This is all good. This is all good. Let's see. Oh, that's why. And create a clone of myself just to check if it's still there. Yes, it goes backwards. Why does it do that? Weird. Let's do wait 2 seconds. Create a clone of myself. Now it doesn't do it. Okay. It's not gonna get killed as soon as it spawns, so maybe just waiting a bit is good for all of these. And then we need to put a wait over here. Wait 1 second. And now, since our tank attacks the slime, we want to also, when I receive message 1, change health by blah blah blah. Let's do -5. And the reason why we didn't put any weights over here, because once it does this, once it runs through that, it automatically goes to the next thing. So we don't need to put any weights, and I forgot to continue on. So it's on this, 1, 2, 3, and then just do a repeat 3. Again, you're probably not going to have the same looking thing as me, and that's fine. Do this to the bottom. But if you do have multiple costumes, this is good for that. Weight 0.05 and next costume at the bottom. Because in the order of operations, since this is first, and then it's this, and then it's this, and then it's this, on the next costume, we don't want it to go to the next costume immediately, we want it to wait a bit. So, now that's out of the way. Let's see. Save it. Of course, you always want to save every time you can. And now, when flag clicked, set enemy health to 150, blah blah blah. Forever, let's do, wait 10 seconds, create a clone of slime. The reason why you don't want to have the create a clone of myself in the sprite that you're trying to create a clone of is because if you do it enough times, see how it filled in real quick, and now it's all in one. There's way more than I clicked in that. So you don't want that. You want to go over to, because it multiplies every time you do it. Let's see. if this works, that's good. If it doesn't, then we'll see what the problem is. And now, what we also need to do is make the button for you to click so that you can send out your own tanks. This goes over here, it attacks, like that. See how it doesn't have a weight? It's because we forgot to set that to something else. Let's do that right now. Set attack now to 10, so it doesn't continuously attack like that. And that would go right here. See how they immediately stopped? Now, what we want to do is paint, and let's just make a simple little box. That is much too big, but we can shrink it, so it doesn't really matter. Take this, and then just copy it, paste it onto the empty box, shrink it down if you need to. This is our tank button. There we go. This is our tank button, and so when flag clicked, or when this sprite clicked, and right now we just wanted to create a clone of tank. Look at that. This should send out a slime. Let's decrease the time. Let's do 2 seconds. Oh, that's right. If touching sprite 2, and we need an OR block right here. And then slime. Send all the tanks. Wow, that's a lot. And let's restart. Boom. They'll clump together, they'll attack the tank. They continue moving, and they'll attack your base, even if you send out another tank. They'll attack both the base and the tank. That's how you do area, and it's spawning way too much right now. And yeah, this looks good. This is about where I'm going to end it. Make sure you save what you've done so far. And yeah, that's about it.